Hey, I think we're live.
Yeah, I think we are too.
Even though the thing said bad.
Aw, it
Go.
came up on my thing. Hello!
Hello! Sorry, a little bit of a false start there. Uh-oh, I had the thing on. All right, cool. Hi, everybody. Hopefully this is all coming across because YouTube's telling me it's bad quality on the stream, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. It's a good way to ease into the thing, and I remind people, just in case this blinking thing, dang it, I'm never going to point in the right direction. This blinking thing right here. We're doing spoilers. Please do not watch if you haven't seen the movie yet, right? My love?
Yes. I didn't know you. I thought you were talking to them.
No.
Right?
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 No. Okay. Yeah, so please don't. We don't want to spoil this for anyone. I put it plenty in the description and the thing everywhere. The thumbnail had big spoilers written across the side. I'm leaving this annoying thing up the whole time, just so if anyone tunes in, they'll see it and be like, ah, and flee.
My eyes.
All right,
It burns.
Chris and I have barely talked about it because we've been all going in our own separate directions today. Excuse me. Yeah, so you're going to get lots of, oh my God, this, oh my God, that, oh my God, this. But so hopefully some people join the room to kind of level us out to ensure that we, don't go too crazy. But I also understand that a lot of our regular fans can't watch this live because they haven't yet had a chance to see it. But we had to get something out there, and today, and right now, we had time. 10:30 at night, sure.
It's what happens.
It's what happens. All right. So I hear you typing a lot over there. You making up notes?
Yep.
Is that what you're doing? All right, I'll vamp a little bit more. You give me a heads up once you've gotten enough notes down.
I think I got the things that were floating around in my head.
All right,
down.
Good. I hope that you have on there somewhere where we're going to start because there's like 87 different insertion points that I would like to start with. And I have no idea which one's the best. Did you have a good starting point?
How about the beginning?
At the beginning?
Yeah.
All right. I can't even remember.
So the Asgardians have had a couple of bad movies.
Yeah, they haven't been on the winning end of a lot of stuff. And once again, if you haven't seen it, get out now. I'm going to say that every so often.
Oh my God.
If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, get out now.
Get out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got to find something cool to put up there above your head. So, yes, you talk about the Asgardians for a little bit.
Yeah. I assume that there are still half of the Asgardians floating around in space and that Thor was like, I can't be bothered saving them. They'll figure it out themselves.
No,
I got to Titan to get you. Because he kills like half of everyone everywhere he goes.
That is true, but then he used the Power Stone, blew up the ship,
but Thor survived.
Well, yeah, but I gotta assume that Thor's a higher grade Asgardian. That regular Asgardians are dead. Like I can't imagine.
What about Valkyrie? You think she's dead? Although she probably died fighting. She probably wasn't even engaged.
Yeah.
She wasn't even in this
she
movie.
Probably died before we even seen it.
Yeah.
Valkyrie not in this movie. Jeez. Yeah. So
that was
like sad and stuff.
And then Heimdall was not the H in Thanos. He did not have the Soul Stone.
He was not the H.
He just happened to have orange eyes and could see souls.
He was the first to die, right?
He was.
No, aside from all those other Asgardians people off.
He was the first on-screen
death.
And he sent Hulk back to Earth.
Yeah, that was pretty cool how they did that.
Yeah.
And that shot of Hulk down in the broke through the stairs and all, that was the same shot from the comics that they did when Silver Surfer came crashing to Earth. Like Silver Surfer was the one that first showed up and let him know S was about to go down. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that whole scene there. That we got the Thanos beating up on the Thor
on the Hulk
beforehand. The Hulk, but I mean the scene. I was real inquisitive about the scene with Thanos with his hand on Thor's head and on like crushing it and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Stepping back again for another second. it was great how they put the Hulk there, getting the snot beat out of him by Thanos right at the beginning, because that immediately puts you in the mindset of, they're
and Loki,
they're screwed.
Like that was it had set up, like, at the end of the very first Avengers, they said, Stark had said, we have a Hulk, and Hulk comes in and beats the snot out of Loki. So it was great that Loki set it all up, and he was all like, yeah, we're gonna win this because we got a Hulk. And Hulk comes in and then gets the snot beat out of him, and the last finishing move that Thanos did on the Hulk was to flip him down onto the ground, almost just like he had done to Loki, although then he flipped Loki back and forth like a rag doll for a little while, which was fantastic.
There's never going to beat that scene.
No.
That is
I did like
delicious.
I did like the mirroring of that end of that movie.
Yeah.
And it definitely crushed all of them to watch the Hulk get beat up like that. I guess including the Hulk, because he decides for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Just nuh-uh.
No, I'm not playing with you guys. You guys stink.
Boo.
No,
that guy sucks. I'll be staying inside. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's what the Hulk says the entire time.
Although, I don't know what that really buys him, because if Puny Banner gets beat up and killed...
Nope.
Like...
Taking my toys, going home.
At least I won't feel the pain in here. I'll just be dead.
Yes.
All right.
So, that really did set the tone. Like, nah, this guy's...
I remember thinking that while I was sitting there, I was like, wow... I love the Hulk and just seeing him getting beat up like that, and like just with all the quick moves too. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it was rough. And then and I kept expecting Loki to get them out of there. Like, first I was surprised that Heimdall had only sent
Well, he probably
Hulk
only had enough
back.
power.
Yeah, and they weren't next to each other.
Yeah, and like Hulk was way over off on the side, and he knew that if he tried to grab someone that was close to Thanos, Thanos could have like broke the Bifrost or the Bifrost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So he knew that he needed to warn someone somewhere that that's what's going down.
So I just couldn't tell because how everything moved so fast that like where he was and how he opened the Bifrost, and I thought maybe they were next to each other, but then when he, all of that closed down, it was like, oh no, Thor and Loki are still here. So then I thought Loki was going to do something to get them out of there, and I kept thinking like, all right, he's going to do magic and this will work, and then he's going to do magic and then they'll get away, and then he's going to do magic, and then he
he's
does it,
die.
of course, to try and kill Thanos, and he's doing his usual obsequiousness to sidle up to him, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Why do you think this is gonna work? You think you're gonna be able to get close enough and stab this guy? No.
I mean, it's all that he had left.
Running away was something
really
he could have done. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, but maybe that was showing his growth as a character, that he doesn't do that anymore.
That was not a smart move.
Well, yeah, but I mean, come on.
I know.
People got to grow.
So then, and then he died, and I was so sad. And I remember thinking, oh no, you can't do that to Tom Hiddleston. Come on, man, not Tom.
But yeah, that's when we get to the thing with the problems. Look, I'm making my notes right now. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about. I'll revisit stuff with Loki and Heimdall later.
But this is just reactions as the movies go on. So now Heimdall's down and Loki's down. And now I'm like, and Thor's bound up in all this metal. And it was like, well, now what? Is he just going to kill Thor now? Are we just going to lose everyone? Is it just going to be a reign of death?
Thor, well, see, all right. That's another one of my complaints. I have that one written down already. You knew that Thor was going to be later on in the movie because you saw him later on in...
I managed to forget everything when I go into a movie.
Well...
which is kind of fun.
Sounds like our marriage.
Oh.
Hey, hon, can you bring me tape? I need some tape in the back room. Okay. 3 hours later, I'm walking up there to get my own tape.
That's not how this worked.
All right.
But I'm not
an
gonna
hour
into how
later.
It did. Yes, the time went by, but that wasn't the request you made.
Anyway.
But that's not important. That is not apropos.
Well, but see, this is part of why people tune in. They tune in for our witty repartee back and forth.
our marital bickering.
And they also tune in for the tea that I have to drink because it was my second stream of the day. I just streamed with my brother. But we both can't drink at the same time. Now, see, that's something
I'm doing
you got.
My best Kermit drinking the Lipton.
Ah, I see. But see, that's something you got to learn. When I have the tea up to my mouth and I'm about to drink, you can't grab your tea and then start to drink because one of us has to engage with the
But I
people.
bet that'll entertain someone. It's the tea channel. took
that can be on
there's
your
really
channel.
No more tea left in my cup anyway.
Nice.
Just pretending.
Nice.
I think there's a.
Well, that's like real TV, you know.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing there. They don't want to risk
I'll make a
spilling.
nice,
All right, see,
respectable
now
slurp.
I'm slowly lifting mine to my mouth, so you need to talk a little bit.
So that was, and then he uses the Power Stone to, and I love how that all happened, like off camera beforehand. He just has the Power Stone, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I bet
because-
Novacore doesn't look very good right now.
Yeah, because the movie
I know we
was
didn't
long
need
enough.
to see it.
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
was
need
good.
to. That's what I'm
It
saying.
was
Like,
good
I did
storytelling.
like how they did that. It was just like, we know
Yeah.
what happened there.
Yeah, I did have to think. It was like, where was that stone again? Oh yeah, that's right.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. So then he gets the Space Stone, and now he can just go yoink, and he can just open something and like fade back into this opening, and phew.
Yeah, it's pretty useful.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And his henchmen were pretty scary.
Yeah, the Black Order, Dark Order.
Okay, that's what they had. They had a name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although, like, you know, it's not really important. But
Yeah.
It's just out of the comics.
But yeah,
I
they,
heard
so
people
they
talking about
were
them. But yeah, I love that guy that was.
his major domo, the one who was his mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be-
he was.
be-
he
you
was
know,
cool.
have no fear. You will be killed in honor of the Titan Thanos. And it was like, oh, that doesn't sound fun at all.
I like the opening scene when he was talking. He was walking amongst all the dead bodies and all, and he was very careful not to step on any of the bodies. He always found a spot to put his feet down where he wouldn't crush on anyone. So that's nice. That's nice after you've killed everyone.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So then the ship explodes, and everyone's left to think, did Thor make it out? But of course he made it out.
Of
You don't see him
course.
die on screen. It's like, yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, he will.
So then we get to New York, where the Hulk has smashed through the Sanctum, and that was.
Look, you're
Oh
trying
yeah,
to-
they were walking down the stairs. I was like, what were they doing? And they were walking down the stairs. Were they complaining about not having any money?
No, Stephen Strange had money. His buddy didn't have any money because he's a monk, and monks aren't supposed to have money, and so he was mocking him for it. Basically,
Oh, that's not very nice.
no, it's not.
And then the Hulk crashes to the ground, and that and looks panicked. And I love how they did a lot with his transitions in this movie, like where he was like transitioning out of the Hulk and into Banner.
Yeah.
And like they look down into the hole as he's like kind of mid like degreenifying, and that was kind of cool. And then he warns them that Thanos is coming, and so then they called Stark. They're like, "We got a friend of yours."
He went to get him with one of the big circly things.
Oh, that's right.
And
He walked
what's
out
his
into
name
the
popped
park
through.
and Pepper Potts was on.
Do we want to recap the whole movie and like step through it like this? Do you remember it well
mostly
enough
just,
to do this?
Uh,
Because I don't.
well, yeah,
I'm
we
all
can
over the
do
place.
jumps like it. We've watched it once, and I'm using it to help jog my memory.
All right,
so,
cool.
But
Good,
so I
good,
might
good.
just like try and do the fast forward version. That's right, because we saw Pepper Potts, and there were so many characters. It's like I want to revisit the characters that we haven't seen in a while, because we hadn't seen Pepper in a while, and it looks like they
Yeah, we haven't.
they were.
Oh no, we
married.
saw Pepper in Spider-Man.
Again. I haven't seen all of Spider-Man.
No, I only remember because I watched it this past weekend.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah, and I've seen the
Most
beginning
of.
and the end of Spider-Man.
Well, she was on the end. She was in the end.
I don't remember the end very well.
No.
At that point, I had been chasing my daughter around in the theater. So.
All right.
But that's something else.
Oh, God. Someone brought a baby into my theater. A baby. That's what I get for going at 9 a.m.
9 in the morning, because they
guess.
were like, "We'll go at 9 in the morning."
F them. Anyway, sorry.
Did it cry the whole time, or
No,
was it...
no, just a little bit. And the rest of the movie's so loud.
Yeah,
Unless
which is why you wouldn't want to bring a baby.
yeah,
But
unless they were strangling the baby, I wasn't going to hear it. And then I wouldn't if they were doing the right job, because then they.
oh no, not
Yeah.
funny. Not funny. So that's right. Pepper was complaining about him, taking risks, and he was trying to promise her that he won't anymore, and that's gonna work. So yeah, then he goes to the Sanctum, and they start warning him about Thanos, and he's asking like, "What's the time frame on this?" And that was what I loved about this entire movie. This entire movie took place in like half a day.
Yeah.
From like the moment
Oh.
he's killing Asgardians to the end of the movie. it had to have been
not
half a day.
Not very long.
It was not long. It was like all of a sudden, like ah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna write that down too. Go ahead.
Maybe it was a day, because I know they're at night wherever Vision is. Vision and Scarlet Witch. I know they're on the other side of the world.
It was quick. It was quick,
no
matter what it was.
So then henchmen come to take the time stone, and they're not having any of that. So then they just steal Stephen Strange. And I love his cape. I just love that cape. It is a character.
Yeah.
I love it very much.
Yeah, it is very cool and very useful too. And in the end fight with Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of useful. It tried to be useful.
It tried to be useful.
It tried. And that's half the battle.
And so they take Stephen Strange away, and Iron Man is like, nope, having none of that. And Spider-Man shows up before that in the fight. So then they go on board and stow away on board. And so now he's in space again.
And Spider-Man has a nifty new suit.
And Spider-Man got a nifty new nano suit, which is cool. The one with the legs coming out the back, which I think is very, very cool.
It is cool, but I think it like, he's already Spider-Man. He doesn't need an Iron Man suit, too.
Well, now he's Iron Spider.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's...
I think it's so cool.
My brother did a hit and run. He just came in to say hi and then left since he hasn't seen it yet.
Yep.
Hopefully he saw the blinker. Again, remember, if you haven't seen the movie, get out.
Get out now. Oh my goodness. And then... then they're in space. That was another thing that I enjoyed. And they did a really good job of kind of loading the front half of the movie with the jokes, since the end half of the movie was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed locations, and it just said space. And I was like, we're good. And
because
there
what
was
else
good music, so I was like, yes, this will be the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So the Guardians show up, responding to the distress call of the Asgardians, and they find Thor. So now it's the Guardians and Thor. And oh my gosh, I could not get enough of Thor calling Rocket a rabbit.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fantastic.
I want to hear some Tricks Are for Kids lines.
Yeah.
I wanted all kind of fun stuff.
And I loved how much Rocket just like at first it was like they couldn't. They were like, did he just call him a rabbit?
Yeah.
And then he was clearly calling him a rabbit, and Rocket was just like,
whatever.
I'm just not gonna.
Like, you got to pick your battles. Yeah, exactly.
He's a god, so we'll just not. And then he gives him an eye. And
because he has a lot of spare parts.
Because it's like a hobby of his is collecting spare parts. And at the end of that movie, when he meets the Winter Soldier, he is like, I'm gonna get that arm.
They could have built like 3 new bodies for Gamora. Nah, Gamora.
Nebula.
Yeah, Gamora.
Nebula.
No, Nebula. Yeah. Sorry, I always get those two confused. I don't know why. But yeah,
Gamora, green.
Oh,
there you go.
Nebula, new.
Not green.
Dork. Anyway, so okay, where are we? So the Guardians split and they go in 2 different directions.
Morons go one way.
Yeah. Goodbye, morons. I wonder why he said that, because he knows the word morons.
Yes, and I think that's why he said it. Because deep inside, I think Thor likes to sometimes play off being a jerk by like he doesn't know. Yeah,
and that's true. But plus, Peter Quill was being a dick to him.
He was, because he has an inferior complex,
as he should.
But he's funny. So yes, they go after the Reality Stone, and Thor and Rocket and teenage freaking Groot.
Yeah, I still don't need Groot.
You don't need him?
No.
Why not?
He's just not a Groot fan. Yeah, he's Groot. Whatever. It could be part of the fact that he's voiced by Vin Diesel, and there's just something about that where like Vin Diesel's getting paid like millions of dollars to literally say, "I am Groot" with different inflections.
Yeah. Good on him.
I'm jealous.
Well, okay. That's fine. But
people that like D&D can't be allowed to get millions of dollars just for talking. It's not fair. If they
unless their name is Adam Dixon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he was teenage Groot in this one. His first line was great. I'm Groot.
Mm. And
then so they go off to.
I enjoy. Sorry,
no,
I enjoyed the as soon as you got a little sap in you, you've been a jerk lately, or whatever that equation was. But it was like, that's nice.
Yeah, he said something else. He was being all sassy, and Rocket goes, "Oh, you've really got some acorns." And I enjoyed that. So they go off to replace Thor's hammer, and so they go to the forge. Whose name I can't remember, ends in ear, as everything does the Asgardian way.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the dwarves at this forge, and they show up, and it's supposed to be around a neutron star. Everything's dark, things are frozen, and they show up, and this shaggy dwarf comes out to attack them, and he picks his head up, and my brother and I were in there, and it was like as soon as he picked his head up, and both of us went, "Is that Peter Dinklage? It's Peter Dinklage, and he's playing a giant dwarf. I love the joke. He's a giant dwarf. He's a giant dwarf."
Yeah, it was so good. Like, I had heard that Peter Dinklage was in this in some fashion, but luckily I had forgotten it enough.
I did not know, and I was so wonderfully pleasantly surprised. Every time he was back on screen, Michael and I giggled.
And like, I saw his face there, but it was like instantly I was like, I know that, but I can't identify it because hair and it's so big and what's happening. Oh, hey, Junior's here too.
Hey.
And phone tech at work, Alan. Hey. Now both of you guys have seen the movie, right? Because if not, get out. Unless you
Spoilers.
Spoilers. If you can't tell, spoilers. But anyway, yeah. So that was a good joke, and it did make me laugh out loud. Literally, I rarely do that.
Time he was on screen,
it was good.
It made me giggle. So that was awesome. He gets a new hammer axe.
Yeah, just an axe.
Just an axe?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You can hit things with it. It's kind of blunt.
Well, yeah. Anyway, all right, we're going to be all crazy. And he had to do all kinds of crazy stuff to get that forge going again, but it didn't seem like all that difficult. All right, Junior did not see the movie yet.
We are spoiling this movie.
Junior, get out.
Who do you end up playing?
Picture in picture?
Picture in picture. Pip?
No, he said Pip. Maybe he's English now.
Pip Pip cheerio?
Yeah, we're drinking tea. Maybe he's trying to be English. I'm not telling you unless I see you right in the chat that yes, I understand these are all spoilers and I don't care. No, I didn't, but I'm gonna watch it regardless. I've inadvertently heard way too much. All right,
so now you're gonna vertantly hear way too much.
Vertantly, nice. Peter Dinklage plays a dwarf.
He plays a giant dwarf.
Like he was like 15 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
He's the dwarf of the forge that made Mjolnir and makes Thor's new
it was an
weapon.
Enjoyable joke.
And it was it was lovely. So they restart the forge. He gets his new axe that's now so powerful that not only is it like Mjolnir where it will come to him and be powerful and call the lightning, but it can also open the Bifrost because someone needs to do that.
And it's got Groot's arm as a handle.
Yeah. Groot finally wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I should do something about this.
Yeah, I should be beneficial to the team in some way.
I should stop being such an asshole." So that was Thor, and so at that point in the movie, they're on Titan. The other group has made it to Titan.
You missed them at nowhere.
Oh, the morons at nowhere.
Yeah, the morons at nowhere. It's like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
The morons at nowhere. So Star-Lord and Gamora and Drax. Again, they gave Drax, and that was what I really loved about this movie is that as each group was on screen, the movie like morphed into their type of movie.
Yeah.
So when the Guardians were on screen, there was a lot more goofiness. There was some good music to start their part off, and he and Gamora were Star-Lord and Gamora were having a moment because she, was fearful of what she knew and she didn't want Thanos to find it out. So she was telling Quill that he was gonna have to kill her, and he was like, she's making him promise, and I'm sure everyone was like, he's never gonna be able to do that. So they have this moment, and then they kiss, and then you find out that Drax has been standing in another area, another part of the room, like watching them the whole time.
Reeking
and they ask him
out.
like, "How long have you been there?" And he's like, "An hour."
Yeah.
And he's like, I figured out how to stand still. So I stand so perfectly still, I become invisible. Watch. And then he like slowly eats a snack, and they're like, "You're eating. No, you can't see me. The movement, it's so slow."
That was a funny sequence, but I'm surprised they left it in with how long the movie is and how long it took that whole joke to play out.
The pacing, though, I think
Helped slow things down.
Yeah, it helped it kind of, so it didn't feel it was like
breath.
boom, boom, boom. Like, here's this group, they're doing this. Here's this group, they're doing this. So it gave us
about an hour and a half after that. I kind of wish they have put on the screen, "Now's the pee break," during that scene. Because like I could have gone to the bathroom then, and
I didn't feel. How long was the movie?
2.5 hours. I didn't feel like the movie was long, but my body knew how long it was.
I didn't have to pee until the end, and my body was like, "Oh, there's credits rolling. Let's go to the bathroom." And I was like, "No, bladder, we can't go to the bathroom.
No, this is a Marvel movie.
It's a Marvel movie. We got to watch all the credits now." And the like whatever large stupid soda thing that I had gotten was empty. It was like, of all the things that I had, I drank all of that.
Well, it was empty. Pee in it.
Oh no, the lights are up. The credits are rolling.
So everyone's there being a good Marvel fan and looking at the screen because they know any second some scene's about to break out. What happened? You okay?
No,
all of a sudden you stopped talking.
I was reading our comments in the room.
Yeah. So our heroes travel to nowhere, where
to get the ether, which is the reality stone.
But Thanos already has it.
Thanos already had it, so he showed them a different reality, and this was where his character development really started and really took off, and that was one of the things that I had one of the few things I had said to you before, and what I really liked walking away from this was that they did a really good job of making him an almost sympathetic character. You really got a sense of why he was doing what he was doing, as horrible as it was, and why he felt like it was the right path that he was taking, and all of the sacrifices that he was making to do it, he thought were worth it.
Yeah, it was very logical. It was very pragmatic.
It was, and it's so weird.
We were having that discussion.
I know. It was, but it spoke to a lot of what the character development was for him, and I felt like even in the compressed time, because there were so many characters to get on screen and have a part, his story was told really well. Yeah. His and Gamora's story, because we did get a lot of flashbacks of
we
her,
needed that,
which we did need, because we needed to. And that was a really...
We need to feel that sacrifice he made.
Yes.
Otherwise, it could be like, yeah, he's just a bad guy and he just killed someone else. Big deal.
Yeah. But and she thought that really was going to be his undoing, because she truly thought that he had no regard for anyone else. He had no love for anyone else, and it was surprising even to her. And then it's double surprising, because she's like, "Oh no, I'm here with him. This is a problem." So where were we? Oh yeah, the reality stone. So he leaves them on nowhere. He does not kill them. And I even like how he says to her about Peter, about Quill. He was like, "I like him." And then he just runs off with her. He's like, and he steals Gamora.
Yeah. Well, that's going to happen. So I got a question, though.
Sure.
So he was using a reality stone to make everything seem like it was, and then he dropped down the illusion. And there was, burning fires everywhere because he had wrecked shop on everything.
Yeah.
What happens if in reality one of those people had, stopped walking in a fire? Would they have instantly caught fire? Would they have... And then, they've been like... I don't know why, but I'm in a lot of pain in this.
I don't think so. Because I don't... That's a good question. What is this? The reality stone transforms matter.
Okay.
So I think it actually transforms
The stuff. It makes it like a holodeck and changes.
Yeah, I
what
think
it
that's
actually is.
the
All right.
that's the idea.
So we have a comic girl in the room, and she was not a big fan of the movie. And she said she's seen all the movies, read the comics, so she's a step ahead of me. So I can't speak to that end of thing, and the books and all. And so if you liked the other movies, did you feel this one? Because she said the directing, storytelling, and relationships didn't sell it for her. So like I didn't feel that there was a big change of any of the way the story was being told. Like it still felt like the same general overall universe, and like the stories, the romances that were involved.
Yeah, I felt like the characters were true to who they have been in the movies. So, did you feel the same way about the past movies? Have they all felt a little bit flat based on the comics? Like if you're coming from comics and the books, then
they need to.
Has there always been a problem for that?
Yeah, I'm mostly coming at this just from the movie perspective, but I have read some of the comics. But
I read Infinity War, and I liked Thanos in the movie better than I liked him in the comic.
Yeah.
I liked his reasoning better, but
then again,
I haven't read enough.
You read that comic. You didn't read all the rest of the stuff.
Absolutely.
And see other stuff with Thanos. So
I would not pretend to be representing having a wide background of all the comics.
Yeah, but from the movie aspect of things, I enjoyed it. I don't even remember the comic that well. Like I read it when
we read that so long ago too. That's the funny thing is when they announced what the phases were heading towards, and like that was like 5 or 6 years ago. When we went to the library and got those out and read them, and so that's why I can't believe I just saw the movie. Like I can't believe this day had come because it seemed like so long ago, and if I had really been on my game. But of course, 5 years ago, I only had one kid, and he was pretty good. And so if I'd been on my game, I probably would have gotten it out again and reread it.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, it was weird.
Yeah, and she mentioned something that I was about to mention. I would have liked one more scene, like a scene where somehow when Gamora and Thanos are together, Gamora's life is in peril somehow. And he stops it. Like, it would have been great if somehow Black Order people had been there and, like, threatened her and was about to strike her. And he just, like, wrecked shop on him and was like, you will not touch her. You will not hurt her. I could have used one of those. And I could have used something, because I, too, felt like Gamora did, that it was going to be no big deal for the loss and all. And they did a good job of, like, selling it with him crying and all that kind of stuff, like, right then and afterward. But if they had done a little something more that had showed his love for her before that moment, unless that moment was supposed to be like the turning point of the thing, and like we were supposed to then realize, oh shit, he's going to be able to do this. Not oh shit, not oh haha, we got him. I tried to ignore the comics and go with the movies, but I felt sad after seeing Black Panther and loving its storytelling, directing, relationships, and the reasoning was clear. Yeah, I do feel that was a lot more clear, but I think it was easier with Black Panther because they only had one movie worth of stuff, and they had a small, clearly defined, storyline and plot in that, and they had good stuff to introduce. All these new characters, so it was easier. And here they were trying to, I mean, it's got to be difficult doing something to merge this many people and storylines together and everything. So I could see them losing themselves a little bit. I could see them. I could give them a little bit more leeway with trying to lose that. And Black Panther was, it had a nice size cast, but there were just a few integral people.
Yeah.
And here he had so many different coming around. And the reasoning was definitely clear, but you just got to understand that Thanos, like, they even gave him that bit of exposition when they talked about Original Titan, that he was just being realistic and saying, we just can't go on this way, because this planet can't go on this way of just more people and just consuming more things and more things.
Yeah. I was talking with my brother on the way home from the movie, and like the the dilemma that he was dealing with is a real philosophical question. It's one that people have been struggling with for centuries on this planet, and the question really is, and it's something as humans it's very hard for us to think about, because the question is always, can you make a decision that will impact individuals for the good of the species? And I mean, where Thanos was coming from and what he said at one point was that he had the will to be able to make the hard decision. Yeah. And so he said that earlier, and then we got to see the background on Titan, where he was like, we were heading towards disaster on this planet. I suggested what we needed to do, and we were going to do it somewhat dispassionately and evenly, and they rejected it, and so then they all died. So your choice is half dies or all dies. Like, how do you make that choice? Because both of those things are horrific.
Yeah.
But one of them is you would think
less horrific
because there are still people alive. But that was I think the whole reasoning behind it, is he had set in his mind that I'm going to follow my will on this, and I'm going to save every other planet from the same demise of my people. And when you kind of look at it that way in just words, it's a noble cause. Like, he had decided to go out into the universe and make sure no other planet suffers as his had. The problem is he goes about doing it by killing half the population of every planet he goes to. And that just sounds horrific. Which is why I feel like they did a good job of making him sympathetic, because by a certain point in the movie, you see that his intention isn't just evil. He doesn't just go gallivanting around the universe just to kill people because he enjoys it. He's doing it with this end goal in mind.
Yeah, but that is one thing, like, in all the setup for everything what they've talked about Thanos up until this movie, they have only set it up making it seem like he just goes in and indiscriminately kills people. I don't think before this movie they mentioned the whole killing half of everyone. And I think if they had done that more, then maybe Comic Girl in our room would have appreciated the story even more. Because up until now, they have made it seem just like Thanos just goes and just wrecks shop on people just to wreck shop.
Well, but now we find out that the population is killed. Like, do you spend the time to be like, he meticulously killed half the population? That sounds weird. No, it's a massacre. It like any amount of every large amount of people being killed is a massacre. So now it just gets spun in that horrific thing has happened, bad guy has done it.
Yes, I do understand that, and if we were commoners in the Marvel universe on one of these space planets, that would be the thing that we would hear, and we would understand that. But we are movie watchers of a thing, and we want to understand a little bit more about what's going on behind there, so give us the more information. Like
they did in the movie. I don't feel like
in this movie they did, but not in the entire lead up for all these years. Like, I think that in one of the Guardians movies, in one of the 58 scenes, they could have taken out a joke or two and stuck in Gamora talking about how he had this whole weird plan about killing half of all the population of everything to balance out the universe. They could have done that. I really feel like they didn't, and if they
have you watched all of Guardians 2?
I did, after like 2 months between in a break there.
I would want to go back and make sure that that's not true. But
I think we should. And if they did, then
I think the goal of how they talked about him though was to make him out to be this big bad.
Yeah.
Like, the goal was to strike fear. Sorry, to strike fear in our hearts, and to be like, oh, this guy's a bad guy, and he wants the Infinity Stones because he just wants to wreck shop. Like, I think that was the goal, was to build him up to be this big bad, so that in this movie we can have the revelation of like, oh, he has a logic behind this, and it's not a horrible one.
Right. Okay, if that's the way that they were trying to go, then
I can see
cool.
that, and
I understand.
I mean, that's how
I think I'm more like Comic Girl, because she's on my side. She was chill with the jokes. I haven't noticed you around before in any of our streams, Comic Girl. So if you know this, I'm sorry, but I have a certain level of my comedy that I'm allowed to take, except in a movie. and like the Thor Ragnarok and the Guardians is just a little bit like their comedy is here, my level's here. Unless you get into the Deadpool realm, and when it goes like up way that high, then it comes all the way back around.
There's a chart that goes with it. Like,
yeah, there is.
It's more of a circle. It's not like this. It's
it goes all the way around the planet and comes back around the other side. So that's just me. But so sorry you didn't enjoy it so much. But hopefully they do a good job with the X-Men, because you mentioned that the X-Men movies you enjoyed, that they handled that well. So where were we last at as we were trucking through the movie there? They had just gone to Knowledge and nowhere. Mm-hmm. See, because of how they spell it, it's just in my thing there. Anyway, so they gone there, found out it was bad, and then they headed to Titan. Did we know that they were going to Titan?
Yes.
Oh.
Because before they shot him out into space, the magic henchman guy said, if I don't make my rendezvous on Titan with this stone, off of your neck, there will be judgment.
No, I meant the Guardians group, the morons. Did we know, like, when that scene at Nowhere ended, did we know that they were going to there, or they just assumed because they knew that Thanos came from Titan, they were like, well, we got to find Thanos, so we'll go to Titan? I'm asking honestly because I don't remember. No, I'm not saying it's an important point, but
yeah, I think they knew that they were going.
All right, cool.
I think she had mentioned something about that. Yeah.
So now we're segueing back to the spaceship and the time stone.
Message retracted. What?
The time stone on the ship with the three good guys coming back to Titan.
To go into Titan, yeah, and they get rid of the henchmen by shooting the wall. I loved it so much because you think that this giant battle is about to happen, and they just go pew pew pew, and you just get sucked out of the ship, and it was like, pa. I
don't understand how that ship doesn't have an
emergency force field.
Yeah. I mean, they got all this other tech and everything, and
I don't know. They did look kind of rough.
And plus, he had all kind of powers and stuff. He couldn't just close
Apparently
that S up with
not fast enough. Whew. It was cool. I liked it. And so that was good. And they land on Titan, and so here we get to what I think is the. Well, I don't know. I guess because we alluded to it a lot. I guess we can talk about Gamora giving up where the Soul Stone was, that was one of those things. And I like this about movies sometimes where it's like, all right, where's the Soul Stone? And everyone has all these theories, and they were spelling out Thanos, and it was Heimdall, or it's him, it's going to be Adam Warlock, and all this stuff. And it's like, no, it's on some random planet.
It's on some planet.
Someone's on planet, and guess who's there? Red Skull.
Yeah.
I was like, because why not? I was like, but the soul for the soul, like it was on this planet, and there was a riddle or a sacrifice that had to be made, and that was when she thought, okay, cool, he'll be stopped in his tracks because he's self-serving and he doesn't love anyone. And that was when again where we find that he has more depth to him than that, because he does care. He just has this iron will where he's going to do the thing he wants to do because he thinks it's right. But he really did adopt these girls, and like he really did have this weird kind of like patriarchal thing where he gathered children, and she was one of them, and he liked her spirit, and he liked the fight in her, and apparently
was it just the two kids?
Those are the two we know of. But even when they were talking about when in the beginning, when the Major Domo was saying, like, be rejoiced, you're about to be killed by the children of Thanos. So I think that he has this like kind of broad reference to his underlings as his children, and they just probably have different like levels of importance and within the organization. So then he throws Gamora off the cliff to get the Soul Stone. And that took a toll. Like, you could tell it really did affect him. And that was something that, like, he knew. But he knew that at that point, like, he was on his path. Nothing would stop him at that point.
Yeah.
No.
And he was so close.
And he was so close.
He knew where they all were.
So then we get back to Titan. And our heroes are there trying to figure out how they're going to stop him when he shows up. And Stephen Strange uses the Time Stone to look into the future.
Wait.
What?
I'm sorry. We got to step back there. And I need to say that I really enjoyed the scene when the Guardians and Team 3 people from the spaceship meet up. Because
they're
like
fighting each other, and you're like, "Who are you?" And
yeah, all that stuff. I really enjoyed that back and forth and the whole sequence of that thing. I really enjoyed it. I just want to take a second to say I liked it.
That's cool. And
we need more of that. We need more of superheroes bumping up against each other and being like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" All right. So as you were saying, he uses the Time Stone. You still trying to suck tea from that?
I know, I'm hoping, because I can hear everything is drying out in there, but it's cool.
Here, you want some water?
Sure.
All right, water. So he uses the Time Stone to see multiple versions of the future.
14 million something. And
how does he keep count?
He's magic.
Okay.
It's magic.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so he sees all of these, and Stark asks him, how many did we win? And he's like, one.
This one.
Yeah. So I think right there, everything that happens at the end of that movie was how it's supposed to happen.
Well, yeah, I think it's the only way. Like, either he saw that he knew that Stark had to stay alive because Stark is the one that finally figures out how to kill him, or he needs to. Well, are we jumping ahead to like theory about the whole thing overall? We can do that because we can come back, or do you want to? That look she was giving me was no, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. Well, because the end game after that was really fast. It was like he shows up. They try to get the gauntlet off of him. They had a decently sound plan in place, and then Peter Quill loses his S because he finds out Gamora was dead, and then everything shifts to Earth, where they're trying to get the Mind Stone out of Vision. Excuse me, now I'm yawning.
Oh, this is no good.
Sorry.
You should have had some caffeinated tea in there.
I couldn't have any more caffeine today. And they're in Wakanda where shit's going down, and I guess we can talk about that fight before we get into the theories.
Okay, all right, bring it.
So they're down in Wakanda, where Captain America has brought the rest of the Avengers to get this mind, and that was a great scene. They were in the Avengers base in upstate New York, talking about Banner was talking about getting the Mind Stone out of him, and he was like, I don't think I can do that. And I don't know anyone who could. And Captain America's like, yeah, I know someone.
Yeah, I know someone.
And we were like, shooty!
I was so disappointed we didn't get a scene between her and Tony Stark. Because Bruce Banner is the type that he's like, oh yeah, all right, you're pretty smart, and you're smarter than me. That's cool. But Tony Stark would have been, I'm
hoping in the
next one.
In the next one,
yeah,
that scene will happen because they got to meet. So yeah, no, I enjoy. We went back to Wakanda, and all of the tribes were there, and my favorite tribe 5 was there, yelling out.
I got a problem with the general wanting a Starbucks in Wakanda, even before this last racial incident.
That's right.
Even without counting for that, just the mere fact of a coffee shop.
So right. I bet that happened, and everyone at Marvel was like, shit.
It would have been great if they had gone in, like, edited just
dubbed
that
it over
word.
and really badly.
Yes.
Like, at least we can get a McDonald's.
Yeah. I enjoy how you did the
Craig Ferguson. That's how he always did. Dubbed it in over that. Yeah, no, that was that was good too. And again, like those little interactions, like after watching all of these movies with all of these characters, when we get into the home groups and their interactions are going, it's very natural. It feels like we're back with the same group. They were very true to their characters, and I did enjoy that. Yeah. So they're going to try and protect and give Shuri enough time to get this Mind Stone deconnected from Vision. And, of course, Thanos is sending these, like, 6-legged or 2-legged and 2-armed dog crazy things. after them.
Oh, in Wakanda.
In Wakanda, yeah.
Well, they already had who were the... I always forget the aliens from the first Avengers. Chitauri, yeah. Yeah, they already used them. And they had a scene in the flashback, too.
Yeah, they did.
Excuse me.
So that fight is, intense. Yeah. And it's going badly. And then Thor shows up with his new new axe and wrecks some shop. And he is angry.
Yeah, I love the moment when they realize that they're just trying to get around them and all, and they got to open up and let them in. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the right thing. That's the right thing.
It was like, how they're going to get around behind us and there'll be nothing between them. And they're like, how do we keep them from doing that? And I said it in my head, too. I'm like, you open that barrier.
Yeah, you let them in and fight them right there.
We opened the barrier. And I was like, yeah, this is going to suck. So that was all very good, and the fighting was excellent, and I loved watching, especially when the female henchman was trying to kill Scarlet Witch. I really did enjoy when Scarlet Witch came down and wrecked some shop, and the general was like, "Why has she been up there this whole time?"
Oh yeah.
What's happening here? But Scarlet Witch and the general and Black Widow. They're all fighting. They were fighting the female henchman to keep her from killing the Scarlet Witch. And I really enjoyed that fight. So that was the highlights in Wakanda.
I'm looking up something real quick. All right,
that's cool. I'll keep talking.
Does anyone remember who or know who the female sidekick in that last scene was, like actress wise? Because she was familiar to me, but I just cannot place who it was.
I'm sorry. What was the what?
The girl that they fought, that Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and the General fought. At the
female henchman?
Yeah, with a little bit of blue.
Yeah.
Do you know the actress?
No.
That was? Because she was familiar to me in some way. And so now I'm trying to look that up.
Yeah, you know what? The actors and actress for all of the henchmen I wanted to look up, but I didn't get a chance to. Because even the magic guy sounded familiar.
The magic guy just totally reminded me of Bill Nighy. I always want to say it's like Bill Nye, but it's not.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy. Like, I just totally looked at him. Which one? The girl Black Order member with the blue, like she had a little bit of blue and a white face, was fighting all it was the all female fight at the end. They didn't need to open it. I wish it was sent Team C out. Oh, don't talk about Falcon and War Machine that way.
Team C.
And keep teammate award them off and people are picturing vision. Oh, I'm not sure who the actors are, honestly. All right, yeah, it was just the way she was talking. It was very familiar to me. But yeah, I don't know. There's all different ways to look at their fight thing, and they needed a big fight with giant clashes of the good guys against the bad guys. You need that moment.
That's how these things roll.
All right, so how about that? I'm glad Comic Girl's here. She knows all. She has all the answers. What about her character name? Proxima. Junior's coming up with Proxima. Let's look up Proxima. Proxima. Proxima Midnight. Carrie Coon.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I feel like we looked her up for something else before.
Okay. She does not look familiar to me.
Oh, but she sounds familiar.
She sounds familiar?
My pooter isn't working very fast.
Yeah, no. Nothing familiar there. She's best known for Gone Girl, Streep Hank, The Post, Leftovers. She was in Leftovers. She was in Fargo. She's going to be in Kin, which was one of the 87 previews that I saw that I was like, well, that looks kind of interesting.
What was that one about?
The gun. The one with the futuristic gun, and the Dennis Quaid is a father to a black kid and a white kid.
I didn't get that one.
Oh, I got that one.
You got all sorts of different stuff.
All sorts of different stuff?
All sorts of different stuff.
She does not look like she was in anything that I would have known at all, so I'm just picking her out of nowhere. Oh, she was in something called Izzy Gets the Fuck Across Town.
Oh.
That sounds like something I would have watched.
Nice.
Oh, well. I didn't see that film, but I know that's female Black. Yeah, that name Proxima Midnight is in the thing. So good call, Junior. Yeah, it's a good thing we have all our people in the room here. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what the hell's going on. Boom, boom. All right, so we've had the big fight, and so now we're down to the point where the bad guys' plan was to suck Scarlet Witch out because they figured that she would be the one guarding Vision, because they demonstrated that they were in love. I like how I guess they're really good at their job, so they can know what was going to be happening. Right? I mean, we have to have bad guys that can think of plans too.
Yeah.
So that's good. So Shuri scampers away with a copy of Vision. To me, and like other things I saw people saying that like she scampered away with a download copy of his personality brain thing and all. Yeah,
I saw her do like some last minute things and like.
Yeah,
swipe
like
down.
Beep, 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 and swipe.
But then she just got the fuck out of the way.
As she should have.
Yeah. And then Vision was like, well, I gotta get this guy out of here.
Yeah. So he gets him out by just.
Yeah. And then it's heartbreaking that Scarlet Witch manages to destroy the stone and blow him up. And then Thanos is like, nope, rewind.
I got this.
Yeah. That was harsh.
Yeah, well, I mean, you knew it was going to happen because he had the...
It's still harsh.
I mean, it's just harsh having that time stone. I don't understand why Stephen Strange didn't use it to keep going back and doing stuff. But
which is how he did in his movie.
Yeah, well, because he knows that every time he does that, there's a terrible price to pay. Or he just jacks everything up.
Yeah.
I believe it's going to be important in the next movie. Shuri, what she ran away with. Yeah, like how they're going to revive Vision in some which way. Maybe they got enough of the Mind Stone stuff in that download that they can use it to cancel that. But the gauntlet looks like it's pretty much burned out.
Yeah, it looked like that was a.
It looked like they covered it in like scrambled eggs or something when I saw it. Like I only saw it for a second. It just looked so.
I didn't look like it. Looked like it crushed onto his hand.
Yeah, and like it was
like
burned
all
out.
crunched up, and the stones were just sitting there. Like, I guess we're done.
Wow.
And then he went and watched a sunrise or sunset. Like he said he would.
Yeah, a sunrise across the universe. And it's like, well, a universe has a lot of stars.
That's how this works.
Doctor Strange giving his time stone away. Yeah. Comic Girl mentions about dumbest decision, Doctor Strange giving the time stone away.
So that links back into how I think he knew that was a step in the end game. Like everything that happened in the end of the movie, from the moment he gave the time stone away all the way to the end to half the people disappearing, is what has to happen for them to eventually beat Thanos. So I think that everyone who was snapped away, this is my theory, everyone who is snapped away and disappeared into dust are going to come back. And that the time stone will be used, or that will all get retconned back the second time they go up against Thanos, and so it won't happen. Everyone I think who was killed in the process of him getting the stones, however, will stay dead. So I think Loki, Heimdall, Gamora, I think they are actually dead and won't be coming back. But I think T'Challa and
yeah, they died in a different way. So I agree that it's probable that those characters will stay dead, but the mere fact that you have all these other characters that you know are going to come back, because Black Panther isn't dead, Spider-Man isn't dead.
Yeah.
So you know that there has to be some amounts of resurrections or whatever, rebirths, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So that does cheapen all the other deaths, because you figure it's like, oh, well, you did something and brought all them back. Why don't you just go back in time a little bit more and save them? But here's my theory of what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the one way where they winning is the least amount of people dying, I think. And in 14 million of those versions of the fight, Thanos goes through and he kills a large number of people in pursuit of the stones, and they constantly are keeping the stones away from him. But he's going through and killing people, and whoever he kills with the snap of the fingers, I think that can get undone easily by Thanos. If he had wanted to, but I don't think any of the other ones can. So Stephen Strange saw this, knew that the quicker that they got him all the stones, let him snap his fingers, And then it's up to Thanos to realize that he has made an error in his sacrifices that he made. Like, the next movie is going to be them proving to him that what he did was wrong and not the right way to go about things, and then he can undo that. Then that's the least amount of people permanently dying in the thing. That's just my theory.
Yep, that sounds similar to mine. So I think that's why that happened.
Yeah,
I don't think he just gave up. I don't think he was just like, no, we're not going to beat him. This is what just happens to happen. I think that he knew, and I think that he didn't explain it all to Stark because he knew it had to unfold naturally or wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's weird being told I'm setting in motion the only way that this can go. So then either you get the dumbass thing that's going on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now where half the cast thinks they're invincible, even though they're trying to change time. I'm sorry, spoilers for that too. But
spoilers for everyone.
Yeah, spoilers everywhere.
Spoilers everywhere.
I don't even know where the heck I was talking. Yeah, you just don't want to tell people what's going on. Or do you think they might employ the different dimensions or versions so that maybe this version or the timeline will be true, but they will do another? I don't know. Anything's possible. I need more time to think.
Yeah, I don't know if this will be a multiple dimension answer, because I feel like the multiverse is an answer in a lot of things right now that I've been watching. But before you said that it might be morbid, but you think the core 2 will die, and I still think Cap is gonna die. Like, I agree. I think that the ends of these Infinity War movies, Cap will die, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tony does as well.
Yeah, but you know what I loved so much? They were doing interviews, and I saw articles and interviews with Chris Evans talking about how this is going to be his last Marvel movie and everything. And there's no way this is his last Marvel movie. And I'm so glad that they kept that going and that it really was a surprise for at least me. I thought for sure he was dying in that one. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that there was any way that he was going to make it through this movie. I thought 100% sure Cap dies. And,
I did too. I thought that how this was gonna go.
Team OG Avengers are still all in the house, except for Nick Fury. And you know that there ain't no way they're gonna let Nick Fury go out like that. Just getting all ashy.
Yeah,
that ain't no good.
Getting all ashy.
But I love that they cut him just before he got to say
mother.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
He's got to try and say it every movie. I love, Mike mentioned this. He loved how his whatever beeper thing that he was sending to Captain Marvel had like a graphic on it.
Yeah. Yeah, none of them. But you know, they souped it up because it was beeper from the 90s when she left the area. And so they had to soup it up a little bit.
Well, it had like a signal booster on it.
Put him in a coma so he's technically alive, but hey, maybe they will bring in Ironheart. See, I don't even know who Ironheart is, man.
Oh, you blew his mind.
You
went too far.
I can't have a show about the MCU if I don't know who Ironheart is, unless maybe she mistyped it and it's really Iron Man. Maybe trying to make myself feel better. I don't know. Who did it end up being? Who end up being?
Who did what end? Who did?
I don't know. Who died in the movie? What? Oh, they're just having their own conversation now. We don't even need to pay attention
I know.
to that.
Do we even need to be here?
I don't think we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
Good night, guys. You guys keep talking.
But yeah, so all right. So was there anything else we needed to cover, like plotline thing, before we go back and pick and choose at stuff?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Oh, I did like how Spider-Man Peter Parker. Is everyone's name Peter that I have mentioned? Quill's name is Peter, right?
Quill's name is Peter.
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. Peter in the Deadpool movie.
Peter in the Deadpool movie.
You didn't get a Deadpool trailer?
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Go see the Deadpool trailer.
Go watch the latest Deadpool trailer. I loved. Man, just when I think I'm like, this is gonna get. Who's
going to get silly?
Yeah, like you can't make 2 over-the-top movies like that.
No, apparently they can. And they can have Brolin as Thanos jokes in this one.
Yep.
And all kind of good stuff. So, can we enter bitch session now about things that we didn't like?
Sure.
All right. I have a bitch session that in the trailer for the movie, one of the 85 trailers that they had, because we're so ravenous, we're going to watch them all. There were several scenes several of the trailers had a scene where you had the Captain America and the Black Widow and Black Panther and Winter Soldier running, and you knew that there was going to be a big fight in Wakanda, and there was another person back over here running with them, and that person was big and he was green. I went back and I looked and I made sure I wasn't just in my own head, but yes, they had the Hulk running there with the thing, and the Hulk wasn't there. After that first scene when he got his ass handed to him, the whole rest of the time he's like, "No, I'm really a pansy." But that annoyed me. I can understand because they went through and they did reshoots. What was the other movie that had a lot of stuff? Rogue One. Rogue One had a lot of stuff in their previews and their trailers and didn't make it to the movie, and that was due to a lot of reshoots. But this one, this was all like CGI'd up and everything. And I can understand it would have looked weird to have a big green spot back there if they didn't want to do that. So what?
They're running in a forest, which never happened.
They really?
No, yeah, they didn't run in a forest. They gathered in a field. Like they were right at the barrier. True. The bad guys came through a forest, but they didn't go running in like that.
They didn't.
So I.
Oh. But it can't be in the next movie because Sebastian Stan was in that too, and he's all ashy now too. Him and his dreamy eyes.
Well, and T'Challa's there too, and he was ashed out. So I think that this is like they retcon everything, and this is the second time through, and the Hulk finally comes out.
Oh, is that what?
It's a trailer for the next movie.
Nice.
They included it for this one.
Is the Hulk not being is the Hulk what balances everything?
Yeah, that's it. We have a Hulk finally again.
Yeah.
I don't know. We will see.
Thanos was a miss for me. You just didn't think that they did him too well. All right. Oh wait, hold on. I got other stuff to bitch about before I forget. Problems. Oh yeah, I did talk about the deaths not really being deaths because you could just go back a little bit further and save them. Oh yeah, all right. So the final scene, not the final scene, the end credit scene. They go. Hill is talking with Fury. They're in the car. They're driving. She's talking about bogeys being seen over Wakanda. Now, to me, I think that even though, like, you know, at this point, like, SHIELD isn't really a thing, but it is, but not theirs. But whatever they're doing, they're going to have pretty good tech, and they're going to get those Wakanda warnings at the same point when those ships are coming down, right? Like, they still shouldn't have landed yet by the time they've gotten, oh, look, there's bogeys over Wakanda. They're going to have the tech and the know-withal and wherewithal and knowledge. I'm just jamming words together now. To get that when it's still, like, way early in the process, like, before they land. And then, like, 4 seconds later, boom, that guy in that car disappears and crashes and people start going. There was more time within that fight before he snapped his fingers and half everyone died. That's why I was PO'd, because the little kid that was next to me when that car moved and all, and she went over there and said there's no one there, and I leaned over a little bit and I was like, Ant-Man's driving that car, and it made me look like an idiot.
You said that?
Yeah, because I figured that Ant-Man was driving that car.
Really?
Yeah.
You talked to some kid next to you and were like, Ant-Man's driving that car?
I didn't really talk to him. I just kind of like leaned his way and was like, Ant-Man's driving that. And I didn't like turn and say it to him or nothing. But like, you know, because we were having a thing, because me and his mom, we bonded over the fact that there were too many trailers beforehand and all, so. Yeah, so that was the other thing that kind of annoyed me, that with that time frame of stuff that was going on. And yeah, so I don't know, maybe she had just been getting old news and just recapping stuff and all, but I don't know, made me a little bit annoyed.
Yeah,
I'm sad that Nick Fury went too.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I thought that. But what you gonna do?
He called in Captain Marvel.
You know, now.
So those two, the Hulk and Captain Marvel, are gonna balance it out.
Captain Marvel's supposed to be the most powerful one there is. So
yep.
When she shows up, shop is gonna be wrecked.
Shop will be wrecked.
So was Yondu a Kree? Yondu was just 100% Kree. I didn't know that he was.
Yeah.
Non sequiturs out of nowhere. I was already a little concerned with the book, considering he looked different, even down the simplistic aspect of coloring for every appearance up to this point. Oh gosh, they're talking about all I was missed. The actor sucked. Plus, my biggest issue was I didn't believe his character was troubled by what he was doing at all. Well, sorry. Hopefully, maybe you like the next one better. But I think you're still going to go back and see him. Something makes me say. She seems to like it too much. Yeah. You're just like us, man. Every once in a while, I get fed a bad movie or a bad entertainment thing, and if it's something I'm really into, I still go back for it.
Yeah.
Like after the Star Wars prequels, I still went back and watched new movies.
Yeah.
All right. So what else? Come on. There really is so much that. Like, this is just our first little instant reactions.
Yeah, and I'm remembering even more than I thought I would.
You're what?
I'm remembering more than I even thought I would.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy it. It was big. It was that was an undertaking. And I guess that's part of what I brought into it was that this was the culmination of 10 years and like 18 movies. How many movies?
18, yeah. 18
movies. To get us to this point, and I have respect for that, and that's part of what made it exciting for me, and what makes me continue to tell them to take my money, because they created a universe, they wended through a cinematic universe, and they tied all these things together, they got them to places I think plausibly. And the characters have evolved from their origin to where they are in Infinity, and so I definitely was on board for that. So and I didn't feel that anything was too big of a stretch. I don't feel like there was giant MacGuffins or giant jumps in logic or leaping to figure something out. Maybe the second movie. There'll be more of that as they try to actually figure out the problem. Like this was anything with time travel. I do like this was the establishing timeline. Like this is how things happen the first time, and then something's gonna retcon stuff, and they're gonna go back and have to do something again. And I've always enjoyed time travel movies. And a lot of people sometimes don't because you start to mess with time, and everything doesn't work right and gets jacked up. But I like time loop movies where they go back and they do things a little bit differently, like Groundhog Day, like things like that. Like I really do enjoy those things. So
see, I don't really think there's going to be a lot of them having to go back and do something different. I think it's going to be more of like they progress forward, they have to do things to make Thanos realizes he needs to change what he did, and then it's just going to be another snap of the fingers, and it's all going to change, and they're going to start back there. Okay. But see, and for me, for this movie, I'm coming at it weird, but I didn't care if it, like, anything about the bad guy or anything about Thanos. To me, they're really just fighting this big, powerful glove that can do anything. And they just need to figure out a way to make the universe safe from it. And to me, like, Thanos is kind of inconsequential.
But he's the wielder of the glove. It's his will that's causing things to happen.
Yes, and I understand that he's the bad guy and all, but like, it's just a matter of, it's just a matter of how all these guys pull together to work the problem. Mm-hmm. The thing, I don't know why, but this villain I'm not really looking for much.
Which is surprising because you think your theory of the next movie is them having to convince him to undo it. Yeah. Which means you're talking more about character development, not about fighting a glove.
And this one was that, and they failed at that. So the next time,
this one was fighting the glove.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now they have to. I'm not saying that's what the movie was, but just in my head, it's what it was. Like, to me, the Thanos and all, whatever. Maybe because when I read that comic, I wasn't a big fan of Thanos in the comic, and he just seemed odd.
He was. I feel like my remembered feeling about it, which is why I really should go back and read it between these movies, was that he was just odd.
Yeah.
Like he was weird, and he was pining over death, and she was giving him none of it. And I was just like, what what? But I need to go back and read it again. Like I'm definitely not clear in remembering everything that had happened.
Yeah, they definitely had to split the story up somewhat because they had too much to tell. Unless they did more. Yeah, unless they did more of Thanos gathering more of the stones in other Singleton movies. But I think they did all right.
Yeah, I think that this being 2 movies was what they needed because it was one big group of people. So I don't think Singleton movies like him. Yeah, I don't know how they would have done that. Like have him getting the stones in those individual movies, like only one group.
Yeah.
Like I like that the groups intermingled this time.
Yeah, it's what we want to see.
Yeah, that too. So I think that they definitely needed to. And I think a lot happened in this one and it didn't feel like 2.5 hours.
But not at all.
It really didn't. Like we were like crashing into what I knew would be the end and it was like, is this really how it's gonna end? Is this
Yeah, he was just sitting there and it was like, this is gonna end this way. And there's going to be people in the theater that are going to be pissed. And it ended that way. And there were people in the theater that were pissed.
We didn't have anyone pissed, but it was just quiet. It was the quietest end to a comic book movie I had ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
It was sub-freaking-dude.
Yeah, we walked out and we walked past where a bunch of people came in. There were just 2 guys standing there waiting. And they were like watching everyone's faces as they went by. And they just kind of looked at each other and was like, ugh. And it was like,
it's not. It's a 2-parter. It's not going to end on a high note.
Yeah, and plus, even if it did end on a high note, I don't want to give any of the high notage away.
Well, no.
So,
but yeah, it was a subdued crowd. Like we sat through those, and nobody moved a muscle. We all knew the drill by this point. 10 years in,
a couple people moved in ours.
Oh no!
I really did want to. The guy was walking by. I'm like, what are you doing? Get back in your seat.
No, nobody moved. We sat down. We were all sitting there, and there was barely hushed tone talking. A lot of people just sat in silence. It was a very quiet crowd at the end of that movie.
Yeah, because even they did a good job with the whole feel of the credits.
The music was very subdued and somber, and it was I mean even the scrolling credits, the music that was going for that was very somber, and then the end credit scene kind of lifted it. Like that was the thing. Like they lifted it just a little bit, little bit of hope. It was just like, I mean he almost says mother effer, and then we see who he called on his pager.
I want to know, how does Chris Pratt get himself a "and Chris Pratt" at the end of those credits?
I don't know.
So many other people were listed at the thing, and then you get some more powerful ones, or like the with
you got to imagine
Paltrow
like the negotiations
with Samuel
for
Jackson.
Yeah,
but how does Chris Pratt get to be the last one with and Chris Pratt?
I don't know. And each and with are 2 different levels of actor.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I guess he negotiated well. He has a good agent. Who knows?
Oh well. Who knows? I guess I shouldn't. He's Ash now, so haha.
Yes, only one post-credit scene.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
And
there
it's
was
all the way at the end.
There was no mid-credit scene.
No, there wasn't.
And that was and you could tell everyone was waiting for one, and then the scroll starts to happen, and we're like, okay, so now we'll all just sit here and wait for the post-credit scene, quietly,
fight our bladders.
And yeah.
All right, I think we should wrap it up here because I don't want to meander much longer.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll think more about it. This week, Comic Girls was quiet and super shocked. I was very glad to see you show up there, Comic Girl. Nice to have you in the room and voicing opinions. That's great. Hopefully you stop back sometimes. Please subscribe if you don't already, and check out other stuff where we chit-chat about Black Panther. That was our latest one. We really enjoyed that one.
That comes out on Blu-ray on the 15th of May, and the week before, May 8th, on digital.
Yeah. What was I about to say? Oh, no, I had something good to say.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Black Panther. We talk about Black Panther.
And
that was our latest.
Oh, crap. Nerds.
2 streams a night. Not good for him.
No, it would even be worse. All right, cool. All right. So awesome. Hopefully this week we'll pull our thoughts together, do a little bit something more. Hopefully, hey, she subbed. Thanks. Hopefully we get caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and be able to start whipping some of that stuff out. For you guys that don't know, this here is my main channel, Corpulent Geek. I'm going to start breaking out some of my other stuff that I do. I do a lot of stuff with my brother, Simply Your Device. So if you're into phone tech, you should follow his channel. And I have also recently started a channel called Corpulent Geek Tech. You'll see it has a very similar little CG symbology on there, but that one's blue. Where I'm going to start doing some reviews of stuff and see what's what.
Who's for?
Who's for? All right. So we are at the point where we say bye, everyone, and check back next week. And the Marvel Universe needs a saying, like there's "May the Force be with you" or "Live long and prosper." Marvel needs one. After this movie, it would be like douchebag, because that's what got the loudest.
They're here to kick names and take ass. I love Mantis.
I wouldn't have been upset if she had been left unraveled.
No,
that would have been fine. But she's Ash anyway, so it's all good. Yeah, we gotta. All right, see you, Comic Girl. And Junior, you have yourself a good one. And everyone else that's watching this on a replay, hopefully we've got other videos up by now. If we do, I'll pop them up so that they come up over there. I think it's over there. All right. Bye, everyone. Oh, I got to hit the stop streaming over here.